Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Anita Dawn here from Anita Dawn Wellbeing. I hope you're well today. So it is still February, and every morning at 8:30 during the month of February, that's Monday to Friday, I have been going live with some February health tips. And this week, it's all about exercise. On Monday, I gave a brief overview of the importance of doing exercise, particularly in lockdown. And yesterday, I spoke about cardio. That means aerobic exercise. Yeah, I gave you guidelines, the importance, the benefits, and what happens if you don't do it. So this morning is my absolute favorite. It's all about strength. Are you strong enough? You might ask, strong enough for what? Well, strong enough for life. Yeah, to carry on your everyday activities, yeah, and do the things that you love to do, and fulfill your dreams. They take energy, they take strength, really important, yeah. So, but everyone's talking about aerobic exercise. Everybody's into walking and running and maybe swimming and cycling, but people don't tend to realize that the importance of strength training is also called resistance training, yeah, and weight training. So I'm going to call it, I'll probably call it any of those, yeah. And it really became so important with the research done back in the end of the last century. Sounds years ago, doesn't it? But in the 1980s, heart disease was so prevalent amongst the population, not just in America, but also in Europe. And Dr. Kenneth Cooper had an Institute of Aerobic Research where I started my training back in 1985. Whoa, that really dates me, doesn't it? And he discovered that aerobic exercise reduce the risk of heart disease and help people recover from heart disease as well. But what he did notice was that over the years with the research that people were getting injuries. They were getting musculoskeletal injuries, which then meant that they couldn't run. So we're talking about knee injuries, ankle, hips, back. Yeah. So looking at that, then it became more important to strength train to prevent injuries. And the main physician in the US, what do you call him? Chief medical officer in the US then put strength training as more important than aerobic training. Yeah. So strength training, some people are doing classes. Yeah, there's out there's quite a few classes using weights, but I'm not going to really mention any. They're fun. And I used to teach body pump. I used to be a Les Mills instructor, and I used to love it, but I was very much aware of the negative side of doing a class, because you're not very much aware of how many repetitions you work on which muscle and how many times a week, and did you get the right intensity, the recommended intensity. Yeah, and maybe you're working the same muscle group 2 days running, which has a very negative effect on the muscle and can actually break down the muscle, making you weaker instead of stronger. All right. So and then we can do strength training in the gym. People think, oh, it's just kind of monopolized by men. And yes, it is really. And you need to be pretty brave and confident about what you're doing to go into the weights area of the gym. And of course, I'm usually there because I love the atmosphere. I love the camaraderie, yeah, and the chats in between sets. It's good to have a little rest. Otherwise, I just go too fast, yeah. So why am I interested in strength training? I first came across weightlifting, yeah, when I had an eating disorder, and that led to weight gain. It actually came about from having hepatitis and severe weight loss and then weight gain. So it's a bit of a complicated story. And it's not about weight loss this session today, but anyway, I managed to cure it with resistance training, yeah, by not just making me feel more confident about myself and it was easier to control my weight, which I was obsessed about putting on weight, being quite short. Yeah. And then I'm really into sports, and particularly water sports. Spent most of my life in a nice hot beach type country. And I realized that if I did strength training, I wouldn't have to ask the guys to carry my windsurfer down the beach from where it's stored down to the beach to the sea. And so it was really great when I could do that myself if I strength trained on a regular basis. Yeah. And now particularly, I have a motorbike, I have a big motorbike, and there's no way I could handle it if I didn't do regular strength training, apart from the fact that I just want to maintain my quality of life as I get older. Yeah. And it is possible to carry on doing the things that you need, want, and love to do well into later life. So what are the benefits? The benefits of strength training, apart from being able to lift things, heavy things, and just being able to do your daily activities without injury. But if you work your muscles, then they get stronger. Yeah, so you are able to do more on a daily basis. But it also helps prevent musculoskeletal problems as we get older. So musculoskeletal problems are a big cause of injury in older adults and can lead to disability. So, and also, if we don't work the muscles, if we don't do strength training, the muscles become weak. And then you see that older people that haven't been doing strength training or working their muscles sufficiently can't get out of their chairs, and they can't climb the stairs. They can't carry their shopping. Yeah, so becoming dependent upon someone else, which is what I think we all want to avoid, that, don't we? Yeah. And the great thing also is that, well, did you know that 1 in 2 women over 50 will have a bone fracture at some time in their life due to a thinning of the bones, and this is called osteoporosis. So we can prevent osteoporosis and help reverse it by strength training, because when we work our muscles, they pull on the bones and they make the bones stronger. So that's really very, very important as we get over 50. Yeah. So going back to muscle mass, we lose muscle mass automatically from the age of 30, about 1% per year. So by the time we get to 60, 70, we could have lost 30% of our muscle mass. That's pretty huge. Yeah. Yeah. And then bone density with fractures. If you have one fracture, if you fall and definitely a hip fracture, then you're more likely to have another one, and it does increase your risk of mortality with the disability that goes with having these bone fractures. Yeah. And then it's the muscles that burn calories. Yeah. So when you work your muscles, it increases your metabolism, and you're going to burn more fat if you want to lose body fat. Yeah. And just general quality of life. And particularly that's so important as we get older, because if we don't use it, we lose it. Yeah. But there are guidelines. So I mentioned classes and not really, not being able to keep track of how much strength training you're doing, whether you're doing the correct type of strength training. So there are guidelines. And I think as we get older, we need to be specific, not just to have a safe exercise workout, but also to be effective. It's so important. Yeah, life is short, and we realize that as we get older, don't we? Yeah. So I definitely, of the guidelines, yes. So you want to work, have 1 or 2 exercises for each muscle group. Yeah. So we're not looking at those baby individual muscles. We look at muscle groups initially. It depends, unless you want to go into bodybuilding, and then it gets a bit more complex. Yeah. And then we're looking at initially 10 to 15 repetitions. So start off fairly light until your body gets used to the exercise. You start to strengthen not just the muscles, but the ligaments and tendons. Yeah, really important. And then reduce it. So increase the weight and reduce the repetitions, 8 to 12. And hey, girls, you're not gonna, guys, female guys, women, ladies, yeah, you're not going to get big and bulky unless you really hit those weights really hard. Heavy weight, low reps, high sets, yeah, on a daily basis, yeah, split sessions, yeah, and eating the right thing, more and more protein, then you're not going to bulk up. It depends a little bit on your genes, yeah, but generally speaking, no, you just get denser, you get stronger. Okay, so that's and then 1 to 3 sets. I often, if I'm in a hurry, I do 1 set. Yeah, I just do 1 set of everything. That's my plan B. Plan A is 2 sets. I don't feel any benefit of going into 3 sets. I like to do my workout and get on with my life. Yeah. And how many times a week? 2 to 3 times a week. Yeah. Once a week will maintain what you have, stop you losing, but you're not going to get stronger. And really, you do need to do twice a week and ideally 3 times a week. That's every other day. So have 48 hours rest in between so the muscles can recover. Otherwise, you get a negative impact on the muscles. All right. So what do I recommend? That you do get a personal program from a personal training, because we're all different. We all have different abilities. We need modifications, particularly as we get older. We are such a unique population over 60. Yeah, it depends on your lifestyle during your life, particularly your adult life, as to what your abilities, okay, are, you know, as we age. All right. So if you go to the gym, yes, it's a bit intimidating, but they have such a lot of variety of equipment. So I do love to go to the gym, but I also like to work out at home. So home workout, particularly now with the equipment that's on the market, and you don't have to dedicate a whole room with full of dumbbells and weight machines. There is now being produced resistance bands from resistance of 5 pounds up to, it's infinite. You can double them over, but there's usually about 5 or 6 bands in a set. They start off very thin and go a little thicker, so that means stronger, greater resistance. Yeah, as you get a wider band, more resistance. But then to get a total workout, you also need a door anchor. Now, this is a great revolution in home fitness, because generally you'd either need a Pilates tower to do some of these exercises, like working your back muscles and working your legs really effectively. Yeah, but now you can do it at home with a door anchor and resistance bands. So if you're not quite sure and you want more information about home workouts with resistance bands, then I am the person to come to. So just message me, inbox me, and I have this program called Strong. I have a strong class on a weekly basis for my members, and also I'm putting together a series of programs, online programs on strength training for women over 60. What's not to love about that, guys? Yeah. All right. So remember, just think about it. Think about how strong you are. What problems do you have about lifting, moving things in your life? Yeah. And what do you want from the rest of your life? What are your dreams? What are your goals? And do you want to remain independent, or are you going to kind of decline into dependency? I didn't mention also that strength training is particularly important for brain health. It can reduce degeneration of the brain and delay, probably prevent dementia and Alzheimer's. Yeah, it's young days on research, but there you go. Okay, so tomorrow we're looking at mobility, stretches, mobility, and then Friday we're looking at brain fitness to do with exercise. Okay, have a great day. Thanks for listening, and I'll be talking to you tomorrow at 8:30 in the morning, and look forward to it.